Its conclusions point to clear and convincing information.
Allahu Akbar!
That sexual violence, including rape, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment, had been committed against hostages and could still be ongoing.
With regard to the hostages taken to Gaza, we found clear and convincing information that sexual violence, including rape, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment, has been committed against captives. And we also have reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may still be ongoing against those still held in captivity. I pause and must add that I am of the strong opinion that this finding does not in any way legitimize further violence, but actually reinforces the need for an urgent ceasefire, as continuing this war will not serve will not serve to protect hostages from risk of further sexual violence.
The mandate of the special representative and her team of 9 experts was not investigative in nature, but sought to gather information and encourage victims, survivors and witnesses to come forward and share their stories. A further objective was to gather, analyze and verify allegations of conflict-related sexual violence committed during the Hamas-led terror attack on October 7th. The mission conducted interviews with a total of 34 people, including survivors and witnesses of the attack, released hostages, first responders and health providers, among others, while also engaging with Israeli national authorities, relevant ministries and the Israeli security forces. The missions team also found a pattern of victims, mostly women, found fully or partially naked, bound and shot across multiple locations. Although circumstantial, the report says such a pattern may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence.
We also found that there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred during the 7th of October attacks in at least 3 locations, namely the Nova Music Festival site and its surroundings, Road 232 and Kibbutz Reim. And in most of these incidents, victims were first subjected to rape and then killed, and at least 2 incidents relate to the rape of women's corpses. Then a third set of findings is that across multiple locations, we found a recurring pattern of victims found fully or partially undressed, bound and shot. And we found that although circumstantial, such a pattern may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment.
The report recommends that Israel grant access to UN entities, among others, to delve deeper into the findings.
I have made a number of recommendations, including encouraging the government of Israel to grant access to the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and the Independent International Commission of Inquiry to conduct a fully fledged independent investigations, calling on Hamas to immediately and unconditionally release all individuals held in captivity and to ensure their protection, including from sexual violence, encouraging the government of Israel to consider signing a framework of cooperation with my office to strengthen capacity on justice and accountability for conflict-related sexual violence, but also security sector engagement, training, and oversight to prevent and address conflict-related sexual violence.
The missions team also heard allegations of sexual violence against Palestinians that implicated Israeli security forces and settlers, including cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment of Palestinians in detention. Sherman Riceby's SABC News, New York.